So winter weather is definitely here, and for many of us that means that our furnaces will be running more or less non-stop for the next several months. And with our furnaces under such a constant load, they're at a much higher risk of suffering a small but critical malfunction. It looks like this. Did you catch it? Most people wouldn't even be aware that a problem had actually occurred. And yet the tiny malfunction that you just saw can have disastrous consequences for you and your family. So what is it? What does it mean? And more importantly, what can you do to prevent it from happening? To answer these questions, I once again teamed up with my friend Bryan Smith of Home Inspections Plus in Franklinton, North Carolina. You may remember Bryan from our recent video about humidity rot in houses. While we were in that crawl space, we ended up talking a lot about the older gas furnace down there as well. It was experiencing some classic problems, and we both said, this is something people need to hear about. So this is our attempt to explain the actual physical realities that lead to furnace malfunctions and the invisible deadly threat that they can create, carbon monoxide. I'm Ethan James with honestcarpenter.com. Let's get to it. We all hear about carbon monoxide frequently. It's the odorless, colorless byproduct of burnt fuel. And I think that most everyone knows that carbon monoxide can make us sick, specifically by starving our bloodstreams of oxygen. But how does carbon monoxide wind up in the air supply inside our homes? What exactly goes wrong inside our furnaces that allows that gas to get into our living rooms and bedrooms and places where it can cause us harm? To answer that, we really have to start with an extremely basic review of how furnaces work. Gas-powered furnaces use natural gas or propane to produce heat. They combust these gases in a controlled burn chamber, creating jets of blue flame. These flame jets then heat up a series of metal tubes or baffles called a heat exchanger. As the metal heat exchanger gets hotter and hotter, forced air washes over it. The air gets warm very quickly, then immediately gets pumped through the vents in our house where it heats up our various rooms. But the air that we breathe never actually comes in contact with the flames in the furnace. The two are separated by the walls of the heat exchanger. That's the heat exchanger's job, to keep the two of them apart. This is really important because the combustion process creates byproduct gases that we really don't want in our air supply. Instead, these gases actually continue along a separate path in our furnaces and exit the home by a series of vents or flues. Now, you might be tempted to say, oh, I see the problem here. Burn-off gases are getting into our air supply and making us sick. And technically you'd be right, but the full problem is actually more complicated than that. See, if your furnace is functioning well, even the burn-off gases that it produces will actually be pretty clean. In fact, there's a chance you could breathe it for quite a while without having a problem. Carbon monoxide actually first begins with a bad gas burn, or what we call incomplete combustion. Let's look inside the burn chamber again. A clean burning flame will be blue in color. This color is evidence of extreme heat. It indicates that the flame is getting plenty of oxygen to consume. When things go wrong with this mixture though, you can get the malfunction I showed in the beginning. It's what HVAC techs call rollout. Watch it again. That change from blue to orange flame is a consequence of the flame suffocating inside the burn chamber. Other combustion gases are building up in the tubes of the heat exchanger, thereby eliminating oxygen supply. But the flame wants oxygen. It needs it. So it swells like a balloon, backing itself clear out of the burn chamber to where it can finally get oxygen again. These orange flames swelling and leaping around the cylinders are rollout. This phenomenon is bad on several levels. The first is that the area beyond the burn chamber is not meant to hold that flame. Components out there can get scorched and stop working properly. In the worst cases, fires can even start. This is why furnaces these days are always equipped with rollout sensors, little nodes that can detect excessive heat buildup. If flame heat gets too intense outside the burn chamber, the whole unit will shut itself down. So you should never ever mess with these sensors. They're there to prevent disaster. But on an air quality level, this rollout indicates an equally dangerous problem. It means that those jet flames are now producing higher levels of carbon monoxide. Unlike the blue flame, which burns off nearly all its own waste, these orange rollout flames have a dirtier burn. They're not combusting all the gases they should be, and carbon monoxide is one of the byproducts. So, just why is this rollout occurring? And how does the carbon monoxide get into our air supply? Get ready for a whirlwind of cause and effect, because what you'll come to learn is that any single problem in a furnace can lead to other problems. And there are a lot of different things that can go wrong with your furnace. For instance, the unit might just be old and corroded, so it may have collected inside the heat exchanger, creating a choke point. This choke point is then causing a gas buildup, which is in turn starving the flame and creating rollout. Or the unit simply might not have proper ventilation. I mentioned before that various vents and flues carry burn gases out of the house to open air. But if these flue networks get clogged, perhaps by animals building nests inside them, then the same gas buildup can occur in the furnace, once again causing oxygen starvation in the burn chamber. In some cases, incomplete combustion can even occur because of the space around the furnace. All gas-burning appliances need an adequate air supply to do their job. They use some of this air as fuel for the combustion process. If furnaces can't get enough air to mix into the fuel burn, you'll once again wind up with an incomplete, dirty combustion. This can trigger even bigger problems because if the unit can't get enough air, it also can't expel its burn-off gases effectively. These waste gases may actually reverse their flow as a result, and rather than exiting the home, they'll just get sucked right back into it. This process is known as spillage or backdrafting. As I said, once these problems begin, they can trigger a runaway effect of cascading problems. Incomplete combustion in the gas chambers might also cause condensation buildup because water is a byproduct of the burn. This excessive condensation then pulls in areas that it shouldn't, resulting in more rust and corrosion. This corrosion causes cracks and holes to form in the unit, gases and air escape, and it stops working like it's supposed to. Or in units like this old one, the heat exchanger itself can even crack or get perforated. Now burn gases can mix freely with the air flowing through your vents. Those orange rollout flames are producing carbon monoxide. On those long, cold winter nights, it can seep into the air supply in your home. You breathe it all night long while you're sleeping, and that's the feedback loop in a nutshell. Bad burns lead to carbon monoxide production. Improper ventilation and bad air supply can lead to backdrafting and spillage. Corrosion in the unit can crack the heat exchanger, allowing burn air to mix freely with our breathing air. These are the combined events that can lead to carbon monoxide poisoning. And it's scary because you'll generally never see it coming. It's just another winter night with your furnace apparently running like normal. So, what can you do about this? Absolute most important thing, if you have a gas furnace, have your whole HVAC unit serviced annually by a licensed technician. The variety of furnaces out there and the problems and factors involved are too complex to diagnose yourself. You need to bring in a professional to do this. If your unit is more than a handful of years old, say 5, you should have it serviced or inspected immediately. Most companies will offer to set you up on a maintenance schedule, which is, I think, the smartest way to approach this because you'll no longer be responsible for having to remember to do it every year. Also, make sure that you have carbon monoxide detectors in your home and that they work. That should be part of your HVAC maintenance agreement. Most of these units get hardwired into the home's electrical supply, and they should be positioned by manufacturer's guidelines. And I don't say these things to scare anybody, but unlike fire, which tends to give us a bunch of warning signs in the form of smoke, heat, flames, carbon monoxide will never let you know that it's there. Most people who get poisoned were never aware that it was occurring. In some cases, they just don't wake up. That's not what you want to happen on your holidays. So please have your unit inspected by an expert. Make sure that your carbon monoxide detectors are working and that you test them frequently. These are your best tactics in preventing carbon monoxide related illnesses. I hope this explanation has helped give you a slightly better picture of how these things work. If you have anything you want to add to it, especially if you're an HVAC technician, please weigh in down below. Any advice or corrections are welcome. I want to thank Bryan and Home Inspections Plus of Franklinton, North Carolina for once again helping me with this very important topic. His input was crucial. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying your holidays. Please be safe and be sure to check back in with us for more videos soon. I'm Ethan James with TheHonestCarpenter.com. See you next time.